Hi, everybody. My name is Maria Hubmer-Mogg from Austria, and my Crowd Resilience TV interview partner today is Jim Gale. Jim, it's so good to see you, my friend.
It's wonderful to see you again, Dr. Maria, and it was such a pleasure to meet you in person at the Inspired Summit 2 weekends ago. It was amazing.
Absolutely, pleasure is on my side. So good to meet beautiful friends from all around the world. So, Jim, you are the founder of Food Forest Abundance, and you are a freedom lover from the beginning. You are in the permaculture topic for, I think, more than 14 years now. What I absolutely do appreciate and like, and we talked before, and I said I did my first permaculture course already in 2011. So I really know a lot about that big field, but you're like an expert in this field, and I'd love to have you telling our listeners and viewers more about permaculture, but furthermore about the philosophy behind what you're doing. So if you would like, please introduce yourself and your project to the viewers, that would be amazing.
Wonderful. Thank you. So my name is Jim Gale, and I learned what was going on in the world about in 2007. I had done very well in the mortgage industry. I had done about $1.3 billion in gross revenue, and I sold the company. And then somebody told me that 9/11 was an inside job. And I laughed at them like we've all been laughed at. And I said, that's impossible. There's no way something that big could have been hidden from the American people. And at the time, I didn't understand the control that these folks have over mass media. I didn't understand compartmentalization. I didn't understand any of what was truly happening. I simply projected the programmed response: you're a silly conspiracy theorist. But something told me to go check it out. And my friend said, Jim, go watch this video. So I watched this video. It's called Zeitgeist. And immediately I experienced cognitive dissonance, which is when you have two competing belief systems in your mind at the same time. But yet I knew that there was something there because it made sense for the first time ever. So then I had a lot of time. I was retired. So I spent all waking hours consumed with understanding and understanding what was truly happening in the world. For years, I spent studying the problem. Now, those weren't very good years, because when you look at the problem all day, it's stressful. And here's why it's stressful to me, is because I had my first two daughters, Mia and Selah. And when you are a parent, you start looking at the world from a different lens. Instead of me being the most important thing in my world, my daughters were more important than me. And this is normal. Most parents would jump in front of a bullet or a train to save their kids. That's just kind of how it is. So I started looking at the world and asking the question, how can we make this change? And then I read Bill Mollison's quote. Bill Mollison is the founder of permaculture, which stands for permanent culture. And his quote was, though the problems of our world are increasingly complex, the solutions remain embarrassingly simple. And I started to bawl, because from that day forward, I said to myself, I am going to focus on the solutions from now on. I am going to put my energy towards asking the question, how can we bring the proven permaculture solutions? And by the way, permaculture is not a hypothetical solution to mass extinction and deforestation. It's not a hypothetical solution to cancer, diabetes, and heart disease trends. It's not a hypothetical solution to world hunger and tyranny. It's a proven and demonstratable solution to all of the world's biggest problems. So with that knowing, I said, how can we bring this to the masses at scale? And I dedicated my life to that for the sake of myself, my daughters, my community, and my world, our world. And it's been such an epic journey ever since. And I'll point one more thing out, and then I'd like to bring it back to you for more questions. This was brought to me by Marcel, who is an incredibly wise businessman. This signifies everything we're talking about. This is the arm of governmente. Governmente is where all of the force and violence, at least the vast majority of force and violence, are subsidized and perpetrated through mind control. Govern or gubernator means to manage or control or steer, and mente means mind. That is the arm of mind control. And this is the arm of the farmer who says no more force and violence. And then all around here is a food forest. So instead of growing food, if this is the only thing we did was inspire people to take out the poisons and grow food instead of lawns, if that were the only thing we did, we would radically change the world and have a world of incredible abundance.
Amazing, Jim. That is just what it is all about, and it's beautiful to see your land. And as I told you before, I love to do my interviews outdoors. So in this case, it's winter time. It's going to get dark in Austria soon. So it's so beautiful to see you outdoors. The sun is shining, the food is growing, you're eating as we speak. That's amazing. So Jim, so one thing, because I just got to know this t-shirt designer recently, she's from the United States, and I wear this shirt right now. So it is count chemicals, not calories. And you know, that should really be it, because we know that the food nowadays is poisoned. Can you tell the listeners a little about that? So what they should look for when they are buying their food, when they can't grow it by now themselves, and so on.
What I look for is packaging. If it's in a package, then it has been processed. Now, we still have to make the transition. By the way, 10 months ago, this area where I'm standing, 10 months ago, this was sand. There was literally nothing here but Florida sugar sand, which is not very good for growing food. Now, we've got over 220 different types of food, perennial landscapes. And this is one of the layers of BS that people are starting to realize. There's 3 layers of BS. There's bad science, which is supported and funded by government agencies with an agenda. And then there's belief systems. And this is where we have the biggest opportunity, is to explore our belief systems, our BS, and ask, is that serving ourselves, our family, our community, and our world? And then there's just pure bullshit. And it's really all layered in bullshit. So when we can take that bullshit and those belief systems and compost them and use them as stepping stones to grow food, well, that's it. So what I look for is food processed. That's number one. If it's processed, then it's automatically not as healthy and nutritious as food that is not processed. And then number two is it owned and run? Are the entities that are producing the food, like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and Nabisco, are they invested in by BlackRock? BlackRock is the number one parasite in our world today. And it is not only the name of the entity that is sucking the life and energy out of our society, it is also, from my belief system, the intention of the entity. And by the way, it's run by a computer named Aladdin. So a computer runs our financial system. Very interesting.
Wow, so true. Jim, so the other part of your land, Galt's land, the Freedom Farm, food forest abundance, is also to look for a new school system. Can you talk a little more about that? If it is already there, we can do that in a follow-up interview as you wish, but I know there's lots of great ideas coming up on this sector as well, right?
Yes, we are actually building a model that is scaling globally very rapidly. We are opening Freedom Farm Academies in Ghana and Thailand and Sri Lanka and Lebanon and Canada, and all over the world. A Freedom Farm Academy is an off-grid homestead, which is all of the things that I already was putting into my property, that also serves and functions as a demonstration and education site. So now this school model that came to my awareness maybe 3 months ago is for anybody's use. In fact, everything we do is open source. We have no patents. We have no non-disclosures. We have no non-competes, none of that bullshit. We are about inspiring and empowering people to grow food, because that's what we have to do right now to win this epic war. So check out the school model. And again, if you're listening to this, or if you know somebody who wants to start a private school, a school that's outside of the government indoctrination system, then please take note of this, because it is epic. We're going to have 25 kids, like a little house on the prairie school where we've got different ages. The primary objective of this school is to teach the permaculture principles, which is basically saying self-reliance. We teach the students, and of course the students teach us, on how we create self-reliance in the mind and in the heart and in the land. And so within 3 months, the students will be producing all of the food for their school lunches. As soon as they've designed and implemented all of these strategies, then they will go in small groups, 4 or 5 students, into the land of the owners or of the parents of the students. And they will design and install food forests or edible landscapes for the parents. So within a year, the students and the parents will have all of the food they need to thrive, and a lot more. Then the next year, they will learn entrepreneurialism. They will go into the community and they will design and install edible landscapes and food forests and resilient systems for the community. And they will obtain a yield, not just in food, but also in an exchange of value. I do believe the fiat currency system is going to completely change. It's going to fail, and it's intended to fail. In fact, 100% of fiat currencies fail. And the average is like 29 years. Our US dollar, which is a fiat currency since 1971, has been around for about, I don't know, 50 some years. And it is intended to fail because then upon failure, the controllers obtain more power. So we're going to completely supplant that system and teach the true voluntary exchange of value, which is true entrepreneurialism.
Beautiful, because of course people around the world try to wrap their heads around what's next, what's coming up with, you know, food shortages and the problem with the financial crisis, with the digital ID, with, you know, having only digital currencies in the future. So this is really something where we need to be very inspirational to show people that even if they set things like this in place, you know, there will be groups and growing groups who will know how to live a beautiful life, not only how to survive, in a sense, you know. And so I think this is so beautiful about the movement, that people will ask, why are you happy? Why are you healthy? Your kids are so smart. What's going on here? And wow, you eat the food that you you know, just have grown yourself. So that's all this beautiful message that we can send out by showing how we are living, how we are enjoying life, and the beauty of nature, and the beauty of, you know, just the creation of the universe. So this is just very inspiring to all of us. And you know, you told us your story and why you're doing what you are doing, but is there like something that inspires you when you are at home? Is it that, you know, ideas just pop up in your mind? Is it that you talk with friends? Is it that you do your meditation every day? What is like your inspirational source besides being in nature, besides doing what you're doing and following your calling?
Oh, thank you for that beautiful and such an important question. I meditate all day long, and I like to define what meditation means to me. Meditation is simply taking a few deep breaths and being in my body and looking out and experiencing the connection that we have, feeling. In fact, I ask myself this question all the time. How do I feel when I feel truly inspired? And I'd like to invite everybody to ask that question. How do you feel? Say, how do I feel? Take a deep breath. How do I feel when I feel inspired? How do I feel when I feel courageous? How do I feel when I feel love? When you ask yourself that question, there's an energy that pervades our body and it starts lifting us up. And it's through those questions that ideas come. I set an intention. How do we scale this? How do we catalyze a shift in awareness that leads to mass adoption of simply doing what's the most logical and beautiful thing we could ever do for ourselves, our families, our community, and our world? And when we ask those questions from a state of connectedness, then something happens where, well, this idea of governmente, what's the opposite of mind control? It's a free mind. Enlightenment is not only for one avatar per religion. That's one of the fundamental lies of the religions. It's not that way. Enlightenment is simply a mind free of programming. Governmente, enlightenmente. So what we are experiencing now is the apocalypse, which means lifting the veil. It's the great awakening. It's the ascension of awareness and of consciousness. You know, the word choice is almost always misused because the word itself implies the awareness. But if we don't have an awareness of what's possible, then we don't have a choice. So my job and our job is to become leaders in this movement and help to shine a light on what's possible, to create awareness. And then once people are aware that this is better for them than anything else they could ever do, then they will simply choose it because it's a logical choice.
Wow, so inspiring. Yeah, it is absolutely. Think outside the box, think outside what has been programmed into you, into us, you know. So that is so beautiful. And wow, Jim, so another short note here. How can people learn more about what you're doing? So you have a YouTube channel still. Hope it's going to stay online with all what you're saying and the truth you're telling. Where can people find you? So what's your webpage, what's your YouTube channel, and what's next?
Thank you. So we're on all sorts of social media. I got completely kicked off of YouTube. In fact, I did a show with John Nolan. He's got the Inspired channel, one of my favorite channels, Inspired. And he, after interviewing a bunch of world leaders, he said, Jim, you're the most censored guy I've ever posted a video about. It was amazing. So anyway, Rumble, and our favorite channel, I like all of the free speech channels. Unite.live is probably our favorite. I'm good friends with Sayer G, who's another world changer and thought leader. And so Unite.live is where we suggest people go. We've got a podcast called The Jim Gale Show. Our website, and this has been where it all fit together, where it all came together, is we have a team of designers, permaculture designers, professional growers around the world. And their passion is to help create abundant landscapes, freedom landscapes. So we now offer a free 30-minute strategy session with a professional grower. So if you want to go to our website, it's foodforestabundance.com. And you can sign up for a free chat with a professional grower, and you can ask them anything you want. And their intention, their joyful duty is to help you get started growing food.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jim, for all the amazing work you're doing. I'm sure we will make a follow-up interview very soon. I'm looking forward to seeing you very soon again, to talk to you. It's always a pleasure, and it's just pure joy to get inspired by your work. And I hope also vice versa with what we guys are doing here. And it's just, you know, the energy is just so beautiful, and let's help others and pure joy. Okay, thank you so much for this lovely interview, and all the best.
Thank you, my friend. Love you.
Love you. Bye.